Hello and welcome back to today's final splash of paint. Now it's time to discover 5 top tips for applying masking fluid with SAA experimental artist Alison Board.
Hello everyone. If you paint in watercolours, then you're very well aware of how useful masking fluid is for saving your white paper. And today I'm going to show you 5 different ways that you can apply it, both from a jar and this fantastic new product which uses a nozzle. So let's get cracking. Here's the first one. I'm going to use a ruling pen. And a ruling pen is an old draftsman's tool where you've got 2 blades and the fluid sits between the blades, and that's how it gets transferred onto the paper. So you can dip it into your masking fluid. I usually tap it off a little on the side so that you just get the minimum quantity. And the great thing about a ruling pen is how fine the lines are. So you can put it on and you can use this for all of the detail in a painting. So you can use it for rigging on ships, you can use it for fencing, you can use it for all those lovely white areas around window frames, and you can be really accurate with it. It does take a little bit of practice using a ruling pen, but once you get the hang of it, it's a perfect tool. The second tool I'm going to show you today is this, which is an embossing tool. And is used generally for pencil drawing, but I think it's a brilliant tool for using with masking fluid. And it has a little ball on the end of each nib, which you can use just to add dots of masking fluid to your surface. Got a bit of a big one there. Really great for fine work. The third one is actually a dual-ended tool, where you've got a colour shaper, a rubberized section on one end, and you've got a brush on the other end. The rubber end, the colour shaper end, is great for doing larger areas where you want to skip over the surface of your watercolour paper, because you can use more pressure or less pressure depending on what sort of effect you want. You can also use it, because this has a square tip, down on its side, so you can pull it down to get a more uneven line, a little bit more different from the ruling pen, pulling that down. And then you can flip it over and you've got a brush the other end. I'm just going to use the tip of it, and this is for doing more painterly strokes or for filling in large areas. But it does drag over the paper really nicely, so you can create much more broad expression type strokes onto your surface. That's where you use masking fluid out of a jar, but we also have this little tool for you today, which is masking fluid with an ultra fine nib. So just going to take the tip off of this, and it has a needle in the cap which keeps the nozzle nice and clean. I'm just going to pull that off of there, and here you can see you've got an ultra fine point onto it, and that can be used to draw straight onto your surface. So if you want a much more fluid line, a little bit like the ruling pen that we did earlier, but you've got more direction with it, you can draw straight with it. The only thing you have to be a little bit careful of is that you don't push too hard on the watercolour paper. But as long as you keep your line fluid and moving, you can pull it across the surface and make beautiful strokes with your masking fluid.
Thanks Alison. Masking fluid is one of the most popular art essentials available. It can be simply added direct to your painting, acting as a temporary barrier to allow overpainting and protect the area underneath, and then be removed. Perfect for creating detailed highlights and clean edged contrast. Well, that's all we've got time for today, folks, but join us next time for our penultimate edition, when Fraser Scarfe uses charcoal to capture the stark contrasts of his favourite Constable painting. We're clocking for another creative treat from SAA professional artist Warren Seeley. Jeremy Ford mixes up a magical tip to help your watercolours glow, and we take a closer look at the work of sailor, surfer and versatile professional artist Paul Ackerman. We'll see you soon for the penultimate edition of A Splash of Paint.
Whether you're a beginner, improver or professional, discover more about the full range of SAA membership benefits available to bring a bigger splash of paint into your life. Visit www.saa.co.uk for details.